IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt from IPMNation.com here at The Planet. And here with me making everything sound good tonight is Mr. Tim Martin. I don't know why I say tonight. You're here every week, Tim.
I'm always here.
Yeah. I should say as always, or did I say as always?
I pretty much live here anyway, so.
I could say as always tonight, but that's kind of weird. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But anyway, Tim is from CentralNHEvents.com. If you need a DJ for your event, go to CentralNHEvents.com, but don't do it now. Listen to the show first. But Tim does a great job, and definitely hire him. And Tim, do you still have that discount if they mention...
Shindig.
Shindig.
Yes.
Shindig is the key word, the secret word, and Tim will give you a discount. And he will DJ your shindig. And with us again tonight for a second time on the show, Mr. Bob McCarthy. How are you, Bob?
Good. And yourself?
Good. Great to have you here.
Good to be here.
And this is sort of our Christmas Eve show.
Wow.
So
I'm honored.
I mean, it won't literally air Christmas Eve, but
close.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I mean, they start showing Christmas movies by Thanksgiving now on television. So,
yeah, they're going to be showing them in July pretty soon. I think it's an economic thing.
Exactly. And Bob, you have a new disc.
I do. I have a new CD called Wounded Mercy and Sudden Light.
Okay.
All instrumental disc. It's selling rather well so far, even though it's only been out a month. Mm-hmm. Got some nice reviews on CD Baby, but also sold a few copies in Europe to France, and Norway, Denmark, Germany. Romania, actually to Transylvania, one of the first copies. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. But,
you got some vampires listening to you.
Yeah, that's fine with me. They could use a little light. Actually, they probably have to
they have
listen
to be
to it.
About the light,
they have to be careful about the sudden light.
Well, unless they're from Twilight, they just sparkle, from what I understand.
Yeah, but maybe they're on the right track. Who knows? But it's a good CD. Everyone on the CD was on my last CD, and I've had a couple of additions. Mick Fritching, who I've played with for many years, lives out in San Diego. He's a great cello player, and he added his cello. And my old friend David Saltman, who he's played bass with a lot of good jazz guys, Gary Burton, Joe Farrell, everyone.
Yeah.
Played bass on this, and we're really happy to have the gathering of Randy Roos, Jerry Leak, David Saltman, and Mick Fritching, and myself, and Gene Ricks from New York. So we had a good crowd.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back and talk about that some more, but let's play a track. What do you want to start the show with?
How about number one, Offering? Now, this is a song that I wrote, which is sort of a tribute to Brazilian guitar player Luis Bonfa. And it's just 12-string guitar, bass, and percussion. So you'll hear me on 12-string guitar, you'll hear David Saltman on bass, and Jerry Leak on percussion.
All right, very good. And this is Offering?
Offering.
All right, Offering from Bob McCarthy here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
All right.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt from IPMNation.com here with a returning Bob McCarthy with his new disc.
Howdy.
And you were saying something interesting off mic while the song was playing, and I'd like you to repeat that because that's interesting.
Well, the 12-string guitar that I use is a modified Guild 12-string, and it was set up so I could use very heavy strings on it.
Yeah.
And I tune an octave low.
Okay.
So it gets a really nice big bass sound out of it, and I think you could hear that.
Yeah.
And actually complements the bass. It almost sounds like a 12-string bass in some sections. But what's unique about that is just for 3 instruments, I think we got a lot of sound out of that cut, and it sounded good. But 12-string guitar is very cool. It does have a little Brazilian overtone, but
yeah,
that's very cool too.
Now, this is all instrumental, correct?
Yes, it's all
album?
instrumental, yes.
Is this the first time you've done that?
Well, the last time I was here, I had some vocals and some instrumentals, but this is actually, it's the second all-instrumental with a band. I did one some years ago called Star of the Sea, which was all just acoustic guitar.
Oh, okay.
And so this is kind of the second attempt, but the first attempt with a band. Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy with it. It came out great.
Why did you decide to do an all-instrumental album with the band? What led you to do that?
Well, I had such great platitudes from the last CD on the instrumentals parts that I figured I might as well, go for a whole instrumental. And I wrote 10 instrumentals, and I actually took one off the last album. And McFritchie wanted to try his cello part on there, so we did a remix of a song called Second World.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it challenging to do instrumentals versus songs with lyrics? Because I know some people, and you've probably run into this in conversations that you have with people. I know that some people probably assume that it's easier because it's one less element to worry about if you're leaving out vocals. But I've always wondered, because I've never, I've written music myself, but I've never written anything that's instrumental. I would almost think it must be more challenging in a way because leaving out that element, because it's so, people are so ingrained with the idea that every song has to have a voice in it, a human voice. So I would think it would almost be more challenging in a way.
Well, the one thing that lyrics do is it gives the song direction immediately. So you have a storyline, and people are following whatever it is that you're saying, whatever the subject is. With an instrumental, you sort of have to establish a storyline through the imagination.
Sure.
So through tonal things and through chords and through strong melody lines.
Right.
So in some way, it is more challenging. On the other hand, it also gives people their own imagination to sort of identify with the tune.
Right.
And so, I really tried to work this tune so people could identify with it. It sounds great in the car. I actually wrote ththese songs because most people I know, including myself, listen to music in the car.
Absolutely.
And so it's kind of environmental in the sense that it's in motion, and it goes with a lot of motion.
Yeah.
My artwork that I paint is the same way. A lot of motion, a lot of color. So I tried to sort of combine those two things.
Sure.
So without vocals, you don't have the direction of giving people the subject matter so that they can say, well, this is what the song is about. They have to sort of use their imagination, and you really have to use chords and like I just said, I'm repeating myself, but a strong melody so people can imagine where that goes.
Sure. And when you write something that's instrumental, are you... do you know at the beginning of the process that, okay, this song that I'm writing now, this is going to be an instrumental? Do you have that in mind, or do you sometimes kind of make that decision as you go?
Well, in a couple of these, actually, people have tried to write lyrics to them.
Really?
And they were good, but I decided I liked it more as an instrumental.
Sure.
So when I do write a song with lyrics, sometimes they can start with the lyrics first, and then I write the music. Or it could be the opposite. It just, on a per case basis.
Sure. Were you considering at any point putting vocals on this album, or did you decide from the beginning of this?
Actually, I decided from the beginning I wanted to do an all instrumental album.
Yeah.
And it's just something I wanted to do, so I did it.
Yeah. And
because the musicians on this album that support me, Randy Roos, I can't say enough about. He's such a great guitar player and a good engineer. And Jerry Leak, a percussionist extraordinaire in the jazz field, but he's also played with Ali Akbar Khan and some classical Indian players. And,
Sure.
Very well known in the world music circles.
Mm-hmm.
And David, of course, has played with many jazz people, and Mick as well. So, it was just, and Jeannie Ricks, it was just a combination. It was the right combination of people.
Sure.
That's why a band works, I think.
Yeah.
There's a chemistry between the musicians, and you can hear it.
Yeah.
And,
Are these all people that you've played with before?
yes,
Okay.
except for Jean Ricks.
Oh, okay.
I met her through someone that we both played with, but we never played together.
Oh, okay.
Keith Lambeth, who used to play with Wilson Pickett.
Yeah.
He was Wilson Pickett's band leader, and we wrote together and played in bands many years ago.
Now, some of these people, obviously, they're not in the area.
Well, Randy Roos is.
Randy Roos is,
Randy
okay.
teaches at Berkeley, but his studio's up in Ashland.
Gotcha. And is that where you recorded?
That's where I did most of it.
Okay.
But some of it was recorded in Los Angeles, so we sent files out to David, and he put the bass parts on.
Sure.
In L.A., and Mick did his sessions out in San Diego, although he did come to Ashland to one of the sessions. He came to New Hampshire. And
Yeah.
Jean Ricks did her stuff down in New York,
Yeah.
which made it even cooler.
Yeah.
I loved it. So,
Did you? Yeah.
yeah.
You've been at this a long time. I mean, is this the first time that probably not? I would assume this isn't the first time that you've been in that situation where you've, as you put it, sent files to somewhere else geographically.
No, it's not the first time. We did it a little bit on the last one, but this is the first time where a lot of us were in other cities and we did the whole thing that way. I mean, all the basic tracks I did,
right?
And I did them in Ashland, or some of the cuts like the one you just heard, Offering. I recorded the guitar in Hampton Falls, New Hampshire.
Yeah,
at a friend's studio, Sunset Ridge Studios out there.
Yeah.
So the thing is, with the digital domain, that's exactly what it is.
Right. Because 20 years ago, you couldn't do that.
Well, I mean, chemistry is not just based on chemistry is based on personality and people that you play with. They don't necessarily have to be in the same room.
Yeah.
And what's so cool about that? It took a long time with David, but he took his time, and he wasn't under any pressure of being in the room with 5 people and a producer, and we're only going to be here for 4 hours.
Right.
I'd just give it to him, and I'd get it back in a couple of weeks. But I know that he sat there for like days.
Yeah.
And until he came up with the right thing, and then he'd send it to us, and we'd finally say, yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
does it make things more efficient doing it this way, do you think?
well, I don't know if it make. I would say not in the sense that. He was there for the 4-hour session and did what he had to do.
Right.
But I don't know if efficiency is actually what I was going for. I was really going for a good sound.
Yeah.
And I think if you let musicians do what they're supposed to do, and they don't have time constraints, they're going to do a great job.
Right.
You know, the problem with that is when you have to perform is that you got to get it together and do it now.
True.
The thing is, recording is so much different than a performance in the fact that you're putting down something people are going to see for a while.
Right.
So, I mean, why do something that you're going to cringe about?
Right.
So if you give a musician enough time, he's going to get it right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were able to do that.
Yeah. And speaking of performing, are you playing any of these songs live? Because I assume when you play live, you're not. Obviously, it's impossible to get all these people together for live performances.
No,
or
I've played all these songs as a solo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's where the whole thing starts.
Yeah.
It doesn't start an ensemble. It became an ensemble. So I can play them solo, and I have no problems doing that.
Yeah.
But, Randy Roos and I play together. We've done duets, and David Saltman and I have played together. I mean, I've known David since he was 19.
Yeah.
We grew up in the same town of Marblehead, Massachusetts, although I never met him till he was a teenager.
Right.
When we were very young, we grew up in the same neighborhood. So...
Huh.
And we played many, many, many gigs.
Yeah.
It's not. I played a lot of gigs with all these people except for Gene, and I look forward to doing that.
Yeah.
But I played. I mean, I think that helped too. I mean, it's not like I sent these files to people I didn't know.
Right.
I've played with all of them.
Yeah.
So.
And you can, obviously, this is music that you can play in different configurations with different people.
Yeah, but I I guess my philosophy as a recording is different than playing live in the sense that, what you actually lay down is going to be there.
Right.
Like I just said, I mean, you're going to have to listen to it down the road, and it's going to be there.
Right.
Whereas when you do a live performance, you vibe off the audience,
sure.
and, your energy at that moment, and so on. There's all kinds of things. I think we captured that on here.
Yeah.
And I think we captured that because we didn't have any time constraints. We're putting up with the limitations of a recording.
Sure.
We took our time. It took me 2 years to do this.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, because I think the last time you were here, if I remember correctly, I think you had mentioned that you had already begun working on this, or you were...
I did. I started working on it right after the last CD.
Yeah.
We had some material that, that we didn't want to use, but I knew that I would use later, so we had some stuff there. So it worked out pretty good.
Sure. Well, why don't we play another track from the new disc?
Okay, why don't we do... This is a cello and guitar duet.
Okay.
And for those that play guitar, I use the DADGAD, D-A-D-G-A-D tuning, which is kind of a Celtic tuning, although it's not
really
necessarily a Celtic song. And it's Mick Fritching on cello and myself on guitar.
Okay. And what's the name of the song?
It's called I Will Go With You.
Okay, so this is I Will Go With You from Bob McCarthy's new disc, Wounded Mercy and Sudden Light, here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
100.1 The Planet's Local Outbreak with IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt from IPMNation.com here with Bob McCarthy. And Bob, the name of the disc, what does that mean? Where does that come from?
Well, there's a song on here called Wounded, which you will hear, which came out great. And I think the Sudden Light refers somewhat, if people could see the artwork of my cover, it's kind of like a fall picture.
Yeah.
And actually it's a kind of a, on one side, you can see one side of the picture, it's kind of like a fall scene of a tree. And if you turn on the inside, you can see a house, and the rest of the tree, it's kind of like one artwork on two
and it folds
pieces.
out.
Right. So I got the title actually from a poet from the late 1800s named Dante Gabriel Rossetti, and he wrote a poem called Sudden Light.
Okay.
And I just like the title.
Yeah, yeah.
And Wounded in Mercy. I was going through this whole thing when I was writing this. I had a couple of dogs that I've had for many, many years that were passing away.
Yeah.
And, you have to do the deed with the dogs at some point, and it was so difficult.
Oh, it's hard.
And they were so part of my creative process, and they were there all the time.
Yeah.
So some of it came from that, just watching, them sort of, not in the process of not going to be here anymore.
Right.
So some of the title is that, but also, it applies to people. At some stage in our life, we're all wounded. We all hope someone shows us mercy.
Right, exactly.
And at some point, we're going to see the sudden light, hopefully, or whatever people perceive that to be.
Right.
So, that's getting kind of transcendent, but,
That's all right.
part of that, well, it's okay. Part of that is in there. And, so I wanted to convey that.
Yeah.
So it really has to do with the artwork. It had to do with me taking care of my dogs and actually some people that we've lost too in the last few months as well.
Yeah.
So these are all realities. You try to put them in the nicest possible way you possibly can.
Yeah.
And hopefully, music can do that.
Do you ever hear from anyone who? I know you sell your music online and whatnot, and you mentioned some of the countries that buy your music, which is great.
Yeah, I sell a lot in Europe.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you know that they're having a revival as far as they're buying CDs. They're downloading less music. There are a lot of 24-bit players that are for sale. They're for sale here, but a lot of them, have the opportunity to. You can either buy a 16-bit or a 24-bit CD, for your machine.
Yeah.
So they're having a revival in some way.
And CD sales are up in the United States too. Actually,
they are now.
Which is great.
I've been noticing that.
Yeah.
Why would you want to listen to an MP3 when you can listen to a good AIFF file or a WAV file? They sound better.
I think people are starting to realize that.
And you're not getting the middle of the song. You're getting a great bass and treble, or at least an exaggerated one.
Sure.
But there's no mid-range in there. It all sounds like, mud.
Exactly.
And there's no definition, So, but you do get that with a CD.
Yeah.
And I'm also, proud of the fact that this is good stereo.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a mono mix.
Yeah.
You can actually hear things image from one side to the next.
Right.
And I think that's lost. I did, since I've seen you last, also sign a deal with a Korean company for my first CD, which has always been my first album in CD. My first vinyl album that came out in 1974.
Oh, no kidding.
I signed a company called Riverman, and you could look him up on the internet. Although he didn't pay me a lot for it, he did pay me. So he could have stolen it. The way the intellectual property. And he did a nice job putting it out. It was a 24-bit mix, and I think the way to go is to buy those real files. Downloads are great and convenient. If you're out jogging and you want to have it on your iPod. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to have an enjoyable listening experience, there's nothing like putting a CD on and listen to it on a good system.
Well, the other thing too, not just the sound quality, but what's great about it in your case is because you do all the artwork on your discs.
I do.
And it's always been that way with you, right? From the beginning? Have you always done the artwork?
Well, I have a friend and who assembled my artwork. Lynn Spellman, and she lives in Concord, and she's done all my album covers. But the first two were mostly photography that she did.
Oh, okay.
I switched to doing artwork on the one before this one.
Yeah. So, okay. Gotcha.
Although I've always painted, I decided it was a nice pitch for me, for my artwork and for the music. So. And
I like that the disc folds out. And what is that? Gatefold? Is that what they call that? Is that the term for that?
This is called an Echo Wallet.
Oh, okay.
It's actually pretty green. It's on recycled paper for anybody that's interested.
Oh, very good.
But it's, it actually is better than the plastic things because it doesn't break, and you don't scratch the disc on that little prong thing that you stick it on. And I think CDs can take a little more than you think. I hardly put them away at all in the car, and they still play okay. So.
Yeah.
But this is a nice fold that it fits in.
I think I was thinking gatefold because it reminds me of an album. When you open up a vinyl album, and it's got the.
That's another thing. There's a company in Florida, in California, Big Neck Records. They do a lot of alternative bands.
I was gonna say, I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, they've made a ovation toward me to put this out in vinyl. So
no kidding.
I'm hoping. And actually, I'm not allowing this to be downloaded.
Really?
No, I'm going to wait on it. I will
Okay.
at some point.
Sure.
But I felt that it hurt sales of the last record.
Really?
I
Interesting.
think people will just buy the songs that they like, and for 99 cents from iTunes.
Right.
And they won't buy the CD. If they want to, if they like, I will buy a CD if I like one song.
Right.
But that's not the mindset of our compadres today. I mean,
Right.
it's much easier to just go and pay 99 cents and buy the one you like.
Right.
So I'm not going to do that with this right away. It's
Yeah.
just going to be available in CD. This is available at Pitchfork Records in Concord, by the way.
Yeah.
If you go in, they have a nice poster up, and Mike Cohen is selling that down there. So
Good. Yeah.
I'll put a pitch in for Mike.
They've always been great about supporting music from the area.
They have, and
Yeah.
he sold my vinyl album back in the 70s.
No kidding.
I've known Mike Cohen for years, and I'm amazed that he's doing as well as he's doing. He's sort of won the Borders War. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
he's still standing. So,
Absolutely.
all power to him right now.
I haven't been in there in forever. Does he still sell a lot of vinyl there?
Yeah, he sells vinyl. He sells CDs. He's got everything going, and he's doing well.
Yeah. Good.
So
But long term, because this is a unique strategy, do you plan to put the MP3s up eventually?
yeah, I'm going to wait a while though.
Yeah.
I think I did it right away last year. CD Baby does my
Sure.
sales, and they'll distribute to anybody.
Right.
But that's how, interestingly enough, that's how I got the European sales.
Oh, no kidding.
Is through Super D out in California. People were, ordering them from Europe, and actually they put them on. CD Baby puts them on Amazon. I don't know if it's this one. This has only been out for less than a month, by the way.
Yeah. Very
So I don't.
good.
I just got my account set up with them, but I don't. I'm not going to have any downloads.
Okay.
But you'll be able to buy it on Amazon and other places.
Sure.
And certainly Amazon Germany, Amazon France. And all the other.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're onto something, because you're off to a great start with this disc, as you mentioned before. It's already doing well for you. So
Yeah, it's out of the gate. It's already doing well,
Yeah.
which I'm pleased with. But that doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
But I also think that musicians, need to be business people too.
absolutely.
And I think it's also sort of a conflict to be a creative person and to be a business person, but it shouldn't be.
Right.
I think that's a myth. It really is. I mean, if you can develop your product, if people can sell pet rocks, why can't you sell your music?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's so absurd.
Yeah.
We're in a country that's capitalistic, maybe overly so in some ways. Obviously, greed has done a lot to hurt our country.
Sure. Yeah.
On the other hand, it's great to be an entrepreneur and be able to sell something that you've created and put out there.
Right.
And there's no reason why you shouldn't.
Right.
I'm beginning to see the tables turn to, I've always been a musician. In the past, like, people don't think it's a real job, but now that you have a job at all,
Right.
I'm not getting that disrespect anymore.
Right.
Work is work.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what can I say?
Yeah.
This is it. And actually, what we do, and I know you're a musician too, people don't need it,
Right.
but they want it.
Right.
And they want to identify with something that makes them feel good emotionally.
Right.
And I think that's what art does.
Yeah.
Somewhere that touches a person, wherever they're at, however old they are or what they're going through, and they can grasp something that they can identify with.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Oh, that's well said. Yeah.
well,
Absolutely.
I think it's the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't think just promoting music to promote music because someone has an extraordinary voice like you see on American Idol, and I'm not putting them down.
Yeah.
Or someone that can play 5 million notes a minute. That's okay, but I think that does a disjustice to some people that are emotionally deprived, because what does that do? I mean, it doesn't end. It's like drinking a Mountain Dew with a Mountain Dew in it. It's
Yeah.
it gets you jacked up, but afterwards, you just want another one,
Right.
and maybe a different one.
Right.
So, but I do think if you touch someone emotionally, they'll stay with you.
And I was going to ask you too. Do you ever hear from people who buy your music, who then let you know that that your music has touched them in some way, because we talked before about how, like with the instrumentals,
Yeah.
being able to touch people on a different kind of level, because you don't have the voice telling the story and whatnot. Do you ever get feedback from people who buy your music?
I do, and
Yeah.
I get that feedback. And one of the reasons I did this cover, of course, Lynn Spellman came up with this concept. But what's really cool about it, and someone from California mentioned this to me, is that people that have identified with the emotional message of this Wounded Mercy and Sudden Light have written their name over mine.
Oh, no kidding.
So you can see that my name is, it's my signature that I've printed on that.
Right.
So it's kind of a cool thing that they're autographing my CD because they liked it.
That's very cool.
That is
actually,
very
that's
cool.
really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very famous person, but I do have a good product, and I think it does touch people emotionally.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's what I want to do.
Absolutely,
So.
Absolutely. Well, let's play another track from you.
Okay.
New disc, Bob. What do you want to play?
This is a song called Once.
Okay.
This is kind of a jazzy thing that features my mandolin, and it also features Randy Roos on lead acoustic guitar, Gene Ricks on keyboard, David Saltman on bass, and Jerry Leak on percussion. And I'm playing mandolin, lead mandolin and acoustic guitar.
How many instruments do you play, by the way?
I play mandolin and all kinds of guitars.
Right.
Electric guitar, nylon string guitar, and steel string guitar.
Yeah. Oh.
So just really play a little fiddle, but
do you? Yeah.
Yeah, well, the mandolin is tuned just like that.
Oh, is it?
It's
okay, I didn't know that.
It's fingered the same way.
Oh, okay.
But just mostly mandolin and guitar.
Yeah. All right.
But I started out playing bluegrass when I was a kid, so that's...
Oh, that's right. I remember we talked about that last time, yeah.
That goes with the deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is Once from Bob McCarthy here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet. Matt Connerton from IPMNation.com, sitting here with Bob McCarthy. And Bob, where can we find you online for those who want to keep up on with everything you're doing?
Well, I'm at bobmccarthy.net.
Okay.
Or www.bobmccarthy.net.
Okay. You should probably spell your last name for the spelling impaired.
Okay. It's, yeah. Well, I am one of those.
Are you?
So I can certainly understand that. It's MCCARTHY.
Okay.
And it's, www.bobmccarthy, BOBMCCARTHY, all one word, .net.
Okay.
And I'm also on Facebook, Bob McCarthy. There's a lot of Bob McCarthy. I mean, it's like having a
I was going to say, it must be a
Joe
very common
Smith,
name, yeah.
You know. But I'm the one from New Hampshire.
Yes.
So, and I'm also on CD Baby. You can listen to samples of my music on CD Baby.
Very good.
If you
Very
type,
good.
there's not too many Bob McCarthys on there. And I haven't updated my website to include the CD yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really, this is the first show I've done. It's only been out for not even 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and we're doing it all ourselves.
Yeah.
Again. I am Mick Fritching, the cello player, is also helping me out in California and spreading the CDs around out there.
Oh, good, good.
Help. So I really appreciate that. I've had some, very good fortune having him on board on this.
And do you have some tour dates coming up, or?
Well, we're putting that all together now.
Yeah.
We had someone ask us if we wanted to go to the Cambridge Folk Festival in England, but I have a feeling it's going to be in Europe.
Fantastic.
And of course we do. And the interesting thing about Europe again is they're all grant driven. Most of their concerts and festivals are grant driven. They're not based on how many tickets they sell, but the government actually puts aside money for these things.
Oh, interesting.
Where other, different organizations that put up grants for the Cambridge Folk Festival and other festivals that are in Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that someday, that we will get it together and go over to Europe.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, absolutely.
I think England is actually, sort of having a folk revival the way they did in the 60s right now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of acoustic music that's going around that's pretty good too.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Are we doing this thing right now? Are we recording?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. A little, it's just so relaxed. I didn't know if we were on the air.
Yeah.
We were just talking. You guys do that, So, anyways, I'm looking at Olivia Newton-John and Elton John. Very clever guys.
Wasn't my idea.
You won't know what we're talking about until you come here.
That's right. That's right. That's how relaxed it is. I've heard more relaxed. We're not as relaxed as NPR. I have to do my hypnosis voice. We're here with Bob McCarthy here on As It Happens. Anyway.
Oh, only kidding.
Wait, As It Happens, I was at... Oh, that's that Canadian show, actually. But they used to play it on NPR. I think that's gone. I think now they have Q Radio in the evening on NPR. Another Canadian show.
I have sold some CDs out to Vancouver and Alberta and Quebec. So I am part French. And
you are? Okay.
My great-grandparents...
Do you speak French?
Un peu, and not very well. But my great-grandparents came from... on my father's side, came from Sutton, Quebec.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. Now, have you toured up there?
I have actually, but not on my own, with others.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I have.
That'd be a good thing to do in the summer, I would
think. Hey, we live in the same climate here. It's not too far away.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, just, it's not too bad.
Yeah. So bobmccarthy.net is the site, and to keep up on all your Bob McCarthy news. And what do you want to finish up the show with? From your, we should mention again, the name of the disc is Wounded Mercy and Sudden Light, all instrumental. Well, I mean,
that's going to be a hard one, but how much time do we have?
Why you got to
engineer?
You got to.
Well, there's the one long one is kind of like got a lot of electric guitars and stuff, and it's Trans-Electric.
That's okay.
The other one, Wounded, is the other one, which is about 2 minutes less. So it's up to you. Where do you want to go?
Go with the long one.
Go for the long
This
one.
is called Transelectric, and this kind of contrasts acoustic and electric music. And it features Randy Roos on lead guitar. I'm playing lead acoustic guitar and nylon string guitar.
Okay.
A local drummer from around here who I've known for years, John Littlefield, plays drums. John I've known for a long time. David Saltman, of course, is on bass. Mick Fritching plays cello, and Jerry Leak again on percussion.
Okay.
And this is kind of our jam band song, so we were going to fade the ending, but we decided to let it go.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's cool.
We sort of liked it.
Yeah, no,
so it's
that's
called
cool.
Transelectric.
All right, I look forward to hearing this. Well, thank you, Bob. And
It is also I did an acoustic version of this, and it's the theme of an NPR show on Saturdays called Giving Matters.
Oh, no kidding. Oh,
Yeah,
very
but this
nice.
is kind of an upgraded version. I hope they like it and would use this.
Yes. I'm sure they'll like it on NPR.
I hope so.
And Tim, thank you as always, Tim Martin from CentralNHEvents.com. If you need a DJ for your event, contact I almost said contact Shindig. Contact Tim and mention Shindig. There is no Shindig for you to contact. His name is Tim. Maybe, see, that would be a good gimmick for you, though, Tim. You should start calling yourself, how about this, Tim Shindig Martin?
Sure.
Almost sounds like a professional wrestler.
Either that or a country and western singer.
Yes, it does. What do you think?
Why not? Sure.
Well, give it all the consideration it deserves. I'm just trying to help you.
Thank you.
Go to CentralNHEvents.com, contact Tim Shindig Martin for your shindig.
Yes.
And Bob agrees. And Bob McCarthy, thank you
Make sure
again
an ambulance is outside
Yes.
when this all comes together. So
Yes, absolutely. And Bob, thank you again.
thanks, Matt.
And we'll wrap up with Transelectric from Bob McCarthy here on Local Outbreak on 100.1 The Planet.
100.1 The Planet's local outbreak with IPMNation.com.
The Planet's local outbreak is recorded weekly at the studios of 100.1 The Planet. It's engineered by Tim Martin of CentralNHEvents.com. Matt Connerton of IPMNation.com is the host of The Planet's local outbreak. The show is produced and edited by Annie Biello of 100.1 The Planet. For artist links and details about The Planet's local outbreak, log on to The Planet's Entertain Me page, WPNHFM.com. The Planet's local outbreak is available for download anytime online, IPMNation.com/local outbreak. The Planet's local outbreak is a product of 100.1 The Planet and Northeast Communications.
IPMNation.com.